And of course, we are covering all the party launches in the coming weeks on Sky News and here on All That Politics. So with me now is the leader of UKIP, Gerard Batten, who's got a press conference launch here in Westminster today.
Hello,
pretty gloomy viewing that.
Well, not really. I mean, as the chap said, and Yusuf, there's 5 more weeks to go of this yet, and that's a long time in politics, and we'll be campaigning every day of that 5 weeks. You introduced this as a fight on the right, but actually that's not true, because if you look at UKIP's arguments for getting out of the EU, they're actually the same as figures like Peter Shaw, Tony Benn, even Jeremy Corbyn before he became UKIP leader. Their arguments are broadly the same as ours. The arguments are not about the right or the left. Well, they're about democracy, who governs the country and who's accountable.
Yeah, but I mean, I have to say, you know, I don't want to talk too much about opinion polls, but it's pretty clear where your votes are coming from. The Conservatives are down, and Brexit and UKIP have got significant shares, although they've, at the moment, Nigel Farage's party's got more than 3 times as many supporters.
Well, what's going to be interesting, Adam, is the opinion poll on the 2nd of May, when UKIP is running 1,400 candidates in the local elections in England and Northern Ireland. So
Brexit's not running in that.
No, but it will be whether people are voting UKIP or not.
Yeah.
The Brexit Party doesn't have any candidates because it's not a proper political party, but we do, and I'm very interested to see what our percentage of the vote will be then.
I mean, if you had to define the difference between UKIP and Brexit, what would it be?
Brexit, and Nigel says leave means leave. OK, we all know that. I'm the only person and UKIP that actually wrote a plan for getting out of the EU, which we published back in 2017 when Paul Nuttall made me the Brexit spokesman. So we've actually, just don't say leave means leave, we tell you how we would do it, how it would work, what it would look like, because this is the whole thing. I said right from the start, Article 50 is a trap. It's a device designed to stop you leaving, not to help you leave. So how do you get over that? And we've thought that out. But all you get from Nigel is rhetoric.
Well, you see him there basically saying the difference was what some people are calling the unsavoury elements, the unsavoury associations of the old UKIP. And, you know, many people would say that what you're really selling, your difference with Brexit, is Islamophobia.
Well, if you look, he's insulted a lot of thousands of people who are still in UKIP, who used to be his big supporters. And they're still there. We've still got lots and lots of them.
He says his party is friendly to Muslim people, whereas your party's hostile.
We've got a Muslim on the candidate list for our European candidates who will be revealed today. We are not hostile to people or groups of people. I just have said a few things about the ideology, and that's what we talk about, because that's what people are concerned about.
I mean, do you think, for example, that Islam represents the Antichrist?
No, I've never said that.
No, but you endorsed a book which says that.
Well, the broad contents,
understand Islam in under an hour.
The broad contents of the book, I mean, doesn't mean I agree with every word in it. I don't think
I mean, do you think you can understand Christianity in under an hour?
Well, look at all these bluffers' guides. They have to do everything. They slim down things and
summarise them. Under an hour, I have to say. But what you say on the cover of this book, Western societies cannot afford to ignore Islam. And if they're non-Islam citizens, the infidels want to know what the future could hold for them. They need to read this book.
Yes.
What is that future?
Well, you've seen it where we have more and more Islamic ideology introduced to Western countries, and it's the extremist, fundamentalist, literalist view of that is incompatible with Western civilization and Western liberal democracy. That's just a fact of life. Look at, they've introduced Sharia law in Bahrain. Who wants to live under Sharia law?
I mean, you've endorsed this book. Do you know who even wrote it?
Yes, I do.
I mean, 2 names have been given, Khaled bin Farage and Farouk bin al-Ashraf.
And he can't use his own name because his life might be in danger.
And is he a Muslim?
No, he isn't.
So it's a book purportedly written by someone with a Muslim name that isn't actually written by a Muslim.
But as a Muslim scholar, long of my acquaintance, who's gone through that book and done the translations and verified it all, and he can't reveal his name either because their lives would be in danger. Now, to get back to Brexit...
I mean, we've got a prominent Imam here saying...
Can we get back to Brexit? Well, because that's what... this is not an issue in the Brexit elections, in the European elections.
But it is if people think that your party is unsavoury and they don't think that Nigel Farage is unsavoury.
It isn't unsavoury. Nigel is a superb spin doctor, and this is going to be his line during this campaign, because what he is Tory light. That's basically what it boils down to. But this is an alternative Tory vote.
But, you know, the problem is you're publishing a candidate list. You've got someone on the candidate list who tweeted that he wouldn't even rape Jess Phillips.
Well, come along to the press conference and ask him to explain that, because he'll be there. This is a
don't see how
Twitter
you can
exchange.
explain it.
This was a Twitter
I know people
exchange.
make mistakes
This
on
was a
Twitter.
Twitter exchange of 3 years ago, which has all been in the media. He's been explained what it meant. Come along and ask him himself.
And he's
Adam.
got supporters tweeting on his website talking about niggers, for example.
Then his is a Free Freaks website, and he's got means of trying to stop those people coming onto it. But he's not responsible for them at all.
Someone who's expressed these views. Why are you endorsing someone who talks about raping or not raping women MPs?
Because that was in the context of a Twitter exchange. It wasn't a literal statement by him.
It's just a joke, though.
And it was an ill-considered statement. I certainly wouldn't make it or endorse it. But Carl Benjamin is on our list because he's joined UKIP some time ago. He's one of our supporters, and he can get us access to a lot of people on alternative media, social media, which we are not going to get. Let's face it, Adam, we're not going to get a fair show in the mainstream media because they've decided that they're going to support Nigel Farage.
Well, you're here. We're going to cover you equally.
We have had mainstream media pushing the Brexit Party in the last couple of days for a very good reason, is because they don't represent a political threat, domestic political threat back home, where we do. We're running 1,400 candidates. Brexit Party hasn't got one.
I mean, the reason why the Brexit Party hasn't got anybody, but
it hasn't got
because it wasn't formed in time for the local elections.
It hasn't got a constitution. But it hasn't got members. It hasn't got a governing body. It's a vehicle for one man.
Yeah, but let's talk about your party, UKIP. You had 24 elected members of the European Parliament. You're now down to 4. And only 3 of them are standing for re-election, including you.
Yeah, well, I didn't have anything to do with selecting the last round.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, it's not great. I mean, people might feel swindled by UKIP. But you see, that they returned 24 members, and they've lost 20 of them.
In the second term, Adam, Nigel lost 45% of the UKIP MEPs throughout the term because they walked away for whatever reasons. All the candidates we had in the last one were selected under his regime. And one of the reasons that they walked away, let me tell you, first of all, quite a few of them walked away before I came on the scene. When I came on the scene,
I'm not blaming you personally.
When I came on the scene a year ago, I sat them all in a room and I said, I want you to honour your pledge to the party to give 10% of your net pay to the party, because that's what they signed up to do. Out of the lot of them, only 1 or 2 did it, including Nigel, I have to say. He stuck by his pledge. And that's why they've walked away now, because they knew they weren't going to be reselected, because they hadn't honoured their pledge to the party.
But, I mean, is that what people should conclude, then, that UKIP candidates just regard it as a bit of a gravy train?
Well, the last ones did, I think. But this is why we've selected candidates now on the basis that they've actually signed with us a contract that they're going to contribute to the party, that we are only there to promote Britain's exit from the European Union, and we want to get out as quickly as possible.
And your pitch to people watching this, vote for UKIP because...
We stand for a clear, unimpeded exit, unconditional, unilateral withdrawal. No ifs, no buts, leave. And leave according to the way we say it should be done, so they can send a message to Westminster.
And leave now?
Yes.
OK, thank you very much indeed, Gerard Batten. Due to speak to Nigel Farage later on this 2 hours of all-out politics.